Welcome to ZoomInData. Hello everyone. Thank you for joining Azure Logic Apps series. In this session, titled Future of Logic Apps, What's Coming in 2026-2027 and Roadmap Analysis, we will cover current Microsoft roadmap trends and announcements for Logic Apps, based on Ignite, Build, and public previews as of mid-2026. Predicted features and enhancements coming in late 2026 and throughout 2027. How emerging technologies, agentic AI, zero-trust networking, serverless evolution, multi-cloud, will shape Logic Apps. Strategic advice for enterprises and developers to stay ahead of the curve. This is the forward-looking episode, helping you prepare for what's next and position your skills and solutions for the future. If you find this content valuable, please subscribe to ZoomInData and enable notifications to stay updated. Let us begin. What are the major themes in the 2026-2027 Logic Apps roadmap based on Microsoft announcements? Deep expansion of agentic AI and multi-agent orchestration capabilities. Serverless evolution. Even more powerful single-tenant, standard options with zero trust and confidential computing. Tighter integration with Azure API Center, MCP servers, and cross-platform governance. Enhanced hybrid, multi-cloud support via Azure Arc and improved on-premises tooling. Performance, cost, and developer experience improvements, faster designer, better VS Code extension. How is agentic AI expected to evolve in Logic Apps by 2027? Native support for fully autonomous agent hierarchies and peer collaboration without manual orchestration. Built-in supervisor agents that dynamically assign tasks based on runtime context. Seamless handoff between human, conversational, and tool-using agents. Automatic MCP server generation from any workflow. Agents discover and consume Logic Apps as tools. What new security features are predicted for Logic Apps in 2026-2027? Confidential computing support in standard model, data encrypted in use. Zero trust networking by default, private endpoints everywhere, no public exposure option. Built-in responsible AI guardrails, content filtering, model approval workflows, audit trails for agent decisions. Enhanced Microsoft Defender for cloud integration with AI-specific threat detection. How will serverless and standard model improvements change Logic Apps usage? Serverless standard, hybrid of consumption pay-per-use with dedicated resources, preview 2026. Automatic scaling of vCPU, memory based on load, no manual plan sizing. Unlimited built-in operations plus lower cold start latency in serverless tier. More regions with availability zones for higher SLA. What role will Azure API Center play in the future of Logic Apps? Central governance hub for all MCP servers published from Logic Apps workflows, connectors. Agents discover, subscribe to, and consume tools with versioning, policies, and usage analytics. Unified catalog for hybrid, multi-cloud Logic Apps endpoints. Enforces compliance. Example, data residency, encryption, across all published APIs. How will hybrid and multi-cloud support evolve with Azure Arc? Arc-enabled Logic Apps will support full multi-cloud Kubernetes, AKS, EKS, GKE, on-prem. Consistent Azure portal experience regardless of hosting location. Cross-cloud event routing via Event Grid Bridge or Kafka connectors. Unified monitoring and policy enforcement through Azure Arc Control Plane. What new connector ecosystem expansions are expected by 2027? Native connectors for emerging AI services. Azure AI Search Vector Retrieval. Azure ML endpoints. More industry-specific connectors, healthcare FHIR, financial Swift enhancements. Auto-generated custom connectors from OpenAPI plus AI-assisted schema discovery. Built-in support for WebAssembly, WASM, components as connectors. How will developer experience improve in Logic Apps 2026-2027? AI-assisted designer, Copilot in Azure Portal plus VS Code, for prompt-to-workflow generation. Enhanced VS Code extension with live debugging on Arc clusters. GitHub Copilot integration for expression writing and error fixing. One-click deployment to multiple environments with policy checks. What cost model changes are predicted for Logic Apps? Hybrid consumption standard tier. Pay-per execution with optional reserved capacity bursts. Lower per action rates for high-volume customers. Committed use discounts. Free built-in operations tier expansion in consumption model. More granular cost allocation by workflow, tag, or agent. How will resilience and reliability features evolve? Automatic circuit breaker and dead letter handling built into connectors. Native Saga orchestration with compensation templates. Cross-region active-active failover for standard workflows. AI-driven anomaly detection in run history. Auto-escalate unusual failures. What is expected for AI agent governance in Logic Apps? Azure policy templates for agentic workflows. Require human-in-the-loop. Content filters. Audit trails for every agent decision and tool call. Azure API Center controls MCP server access and versioning. Responsible AI dashboard showing risk scores across all agents. How will Logic Apps compete with other integration platforms in 2026-2027? Advantage: deep Microsoft ecosystem, Power Platform, Azure AI, Event Grid, API Center. Stronger low-code plus pro-code balance than competitors, MuleSoft, Boomi. Agentic AI leadership via MCP and multi-agent orchestration. Hybrid, multi-cloud story via Arc beats most rivals. What new monitoring and observability features are predicted? Unified view across Logic Apps, functions, API management, and AI agents. AI-powered root cause analysis in Azure Monitor. Real-time agent decision tracing in Application Insights. Power by templates for executive SLA, cost, agent performance reporting. How should enterprises prepare for the 2026-2027 Logic Apps roadmap? Invest in agentic AI skills now. Multi-agent patterns will dominate. Adopt standard model plus Arc for hybrid readiness. Use Azure API Center early for MCP governance. Plan for serverless standard migration to reduce fixed costs. What emerging use cases will Logic Apps dominate by 2027? Autonomous supply chain orchestration. Agent negotiates with suppliers. Intelligent customer service with multi-agent handoff, chat. Analysis. Resolution. Real-time fraud detection with agent collaboration across systems. Zero-touch compliance reporting with AI-generated narratives. How will Logic Apps integrate with next-general Azure AI services? Direct connectors for Azure AI search vector retrieval and Azure ML endpoints. Built-in actions for grounding prompts with enterprise data. Native support for multimodal agents. Text plus image plus voice. Agent catalog in Azure AI Studio linked to MCP published Logic Apps tools. What cost-saving opportunities will the roadmap bring? Serverless standard tier eliminates idle capacity charges. AI-assisted optimization suggestions in Azure Advisor. Bulk connector discounts for high-volume customers. Lower rates for agentic workflows with cached embeddings. What cost-saving opportunities will the roadmap bring? Serverless standard tier eliminates idle capacity charges. AI-assisted optimization suggestions in Azure Advisor. Bulk connector discounts for high-volume customers. Lower rates for agentic workflows with cached embeddings. What security enhancements are expected in 2026-2027? Confidential computing for standard model. Data encrypted in use. Zero trust by default. No public endpoints option. AI-specific threat detection in Defender for Cloud. Automatic secret rotation and drift detection. Why should enterprises care about the Logic Apps roadmap now? Agentic AI will transform automation. Early adopters gain competitive advantage. Hybrid, multi-cloud support via Arc avoids vendor lock-in. Cost and performance improvements reduce TCO significantly. Compliance features simplify regulated industry adoption. What skills should Logic Apps professionals learn to stay future-proof? Agentic AI design and orchestration patterns. MCP and Azure API Center governance. Azure Arc hybrid deployment and management. Responsible AI principles and auditing. Advanced KQL for observability across platforms. How might competitors, MuleSoft, Boomi, Workato, respond to Logic Apps roadmap? Likely add AI agent features and low-code orchestration. 47 Strengthen hybrid, multi-cloud stories. Logic Apps advantage. Deep Microsoft ecosystem integration and Azure scale. Microsoft's pace of innovation, Ignite, build announcements, keeps pressure high. What is your prediction for Logic Apps market adoption by 2027? Dominant choice for Microsoft-centric enterprises, Power Platform plus Azure. Strong growth in hybrid, multi-cloud via Arc. Leader in agentic AI-driven automation. Significant migration from BizTalk and older middleware. How should organizations plan their Logic Apps strategy for 2026-2027? Pilot agentic AI and MCP publishing in non-critical flows. Move to standard model for production workloads. Adopt Arc for hybrid readiness. Centralize governance with Azure API Center. Train teams on multi-agent design and responsible AI. What final thought would you leave viewers with about the future of Logic Apps? Logic Apps is no longer just an integration tool. It's becoming the central nervous system for intelligent, agent-driven enterprises. The 2026-2027 roadmap positions it as a leader in low-code plus AI plus hybrid. Start experimenting with agents and Arc now. The future is already here. Thank you for watching this forward-looking session on the future of Azure Logic Apps, what's coming in 2026-2027 and how to prepare. If you found this roadmap analysis helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to ZoomInData. Keep learning and stay ahead. See you in the next video.